You're replaying every conversation, trying to decode their hot and cold behavior. One minute, you're convinced it's a fear of getting close, a classic avoidant attachment style. The next, you feel a chill of manipulation and wonder if you're dealing with something more calculated, like covert narcissism. Living in that confusion is exhausting. It's that maddening space where you're either being too much for someone who's scared, or you're being intentionally destabilized by someone who loves control. Let me be clear, you are not crazy for feeling this way. The behavioral overlap is real, and it's designed to keep you guessing. So let's cut through that fog. We're going to break down 5 critical differences that live in their intentions and their inner worlds to finally give you the clarity you've been looking for. Because understanding the why behind what they do is your first step to reclaiming your peace of mind and making choices that are right for you. First, let's get on the same page with what these terms actually mean. Someone with a dismissive avoidant attachment style likely didn't get their emotional needs met consistently as a kid. They learned early on that true safety only came from independence. Their core belief whispers, "You're only lovable as long as you don't need anyone." Getting close is risky and ends in rejection. To feel safe, they suppress emotions and create distance. A covert narcissist, on the other hand, is driven by a deeply fragile sense of self. Unlike the loud, grandiose type, their superiority complex is hidden behind a mask of victimhood, quiet arrogance, or intellectualism. Their core wound screams, "I am secretly worthless, and I must control how everyone sees me to survive." Their main goal is to get narcissistic supply, that constant external validation that holds their shaky ego together. The behaviors can look almost identical on the surface. Both can be self-centered, touchy about criticism, and dodge real intimacy. But their internal operating system, the motivation, is worlds apart. And that difference is everything. The first, and maybe biggest, difference is why they pull away. For the dismissive avoidant, distance is a defense. It's all about safety. As intimacy grows, their internal alarms start blaring. It feels suffocating and triggers a deep fear of losing their independence, the one thing that's never let them down. Their withdrawal is a panic response, not a punishment. They retreat to self-regulate and get their bearings. Often, they dread confrontation about their distance because it's just another form of the emotional intensity they find so threatening. For the covert narcissist, distance is a weapon. It's all about control. The relationship might start with a phase of intense idealization, making you feel like the center of their universe to get you hooked. Once they have you, they use withdrawal and the silent treatment to punish you, destabilize you, and make you anxious. They want you to notice their absence. They want you to chase, to apologize, to work harder to get back in their good graces. Your anxiety is their supply. So, the avoidant pushes you away because they're afraid of being swallowed up. The narcissist pushes you away to make you afraid of losing them. This one is a huge giveaway. Can they actually care about how you feel? A dismissive avoidant person has empathy, but their fear often short-circuits it. When you show strong emotions, it can feel like a demand to them, a threat to their carefully constructed self-sufficiency. They might shut down or dismiss your feelings, not because they're malicious, but because they can barely handle their own feelings, let alone yours. In moments when they feel safe and calm, they can show genuine care and take responsibility, even if it's a bit awkward or subdued. Their empathy is suppressed by fear, not absent. A covert narcissist, however, has a severely impaired ability for emotional empathy. They might have what's called cognitive empathy, meaning they can intellectually understand that you are sad or angry, but they don't feel it with you. Instead, they often use that understanding to manipulate you better. Your emotions are seen as an inconvenience, a weakness to exploit, or, you guessed it, a source of supply. They might put on a performance of empathy, saying all the right things to make you think they care, but it's a temporary act. Your pain isn't a signal to comfort you. It's a tool for them to use. Where does their sense of self-worth come from? This is a core divider. The dismissive avoidant self-esteem is built on a foundation of hyper-independence. They feel good about themselves when they're self-reliant, competent, and not leaning on anyone. Their sense of worth is mostly generated internally through their achievements and autonomy. While this self-reliance is a point of pride, their self-esteem can be fragile when faced with emotional vulnerability. They don't need you to prop them up. In fact, they often feel more secure when they're handling things on their own. The covert narcissist's self-esteem is an empty bucket they desperately need you to fill. Their entire sense of self is regulated by others. They need a constant stream of narcissistic supply, admiration, praise, attention, even your emotional drama, just to feel okay. You're their thermostat. They expect you to manage their ego for them. This is why they're so obsessed with status, so full of envy, and so preoccupied with how they look to others. Their worth depends on it. The avoidant finds value in not needing you. The narcissist's value comes from how much they think you need them. By the way, if you're having some aha moments right now, consider subscribing. We get into topics just like this every week to help you find clarity and heal. A disagreement is a huge tell. Pay attention to what they're trying to accomplish. For a dismissive avoidant, the goal in a conflict is to escape. Conflict brings emotional intensity, which is their number one fear. They will do almost anything to de-escalate and get back to feeling safe, which to them means getting space. This looks like stonewalling, shutting down completely, or just physically leaving the room. It feels personal and invalidating, but their motive is to stop the overwhelming flood of emotion, not to punish you. They don't want to fight. They just want the fight to be over. For a covert narcissist, the goal in a conflict is to win. A fight isn't a threat. It's a stage to assert control and prove their superiority. They will instigate arguments just to destabilize you. They use tactics like blame shifting, gaslighting, and dredging up your past mistakes to keep you on the defensive so they never have to take accountability. They might mock you or make cruel, below-the-belt comments, using your own insecurities against you. Unlike the avoidant who wants out, the narcissist often seems to feed on the tension because seeing you upset gives them a sense of power. Your pain is their leverage. Lastly, watch how they react when something great happens to you. A dismissive avoidant is often just indifferent to your success. It can sting, but it's rarely malicious. Their world is so centered on their own independence that your success doesn't really threaten them or even register as a big event. Their focus is internal. They're not competing with you. In their mind, you're not even on the same field. Their main concern is their own stability. A covert narcissist, however, is secretly envious and threatened by your success. Because their self-esteem is so fragile and dependent on others, your success is a painful reminder of what they feel they lack. They see life as a zero-sum game. Your spotlight takes away from theirs. So they'll react by subtly devaluing your win, taking credit for it, or creating a crisis to steal the moment back. Their ego just can't handle you being celebrated. So you have the avoidant who pulls away for safety versus the narcissist who does it for control. The avoidant whose empathy is blocked by fear versus the narcissist who has a fundamental deficit in feeling it. The avoidant who prizes independence versus the narcissist who desperately needs validation. Now, while the label is helpful for understanding, it isn't the final answer. Research suggests that with hard work and the right therapy, avoidant attachment patterns can heal. The prognosis for narcissistic personality disorder, however, is far more challenging, as a genuine desire for change and self-accountability is rare. But here is the most important thing to take away from all of this. You do not need a clinical diagnosis to validate how you feel. The real question isn't, what are they? It's, how is this relationship affecting me? Are you constantly anxious, confused, and second-guessing your own reality? Do you feel like you're shrinking to make someone else feel big? Are your needs consistently ignored or made to feel wrong? Whether their actions come from a wound of fear or a pattern of exploitation, the impact on you is what matters most. Understanding the difference isn't about excusing anyone's behavior. It's about freeing yourself from self-blame and realizing you cannot love someone into being emotionally available. Your job is not to fix them. Your job is to protect your own peace. Focus on setting boundaries that honor your well-being, and trust that emotional safety isn't too much to ask for. The right people won't make you question if you deserve it. Thank you for being here for this. It's a heavy topic, and if you've gone through this, you are not alone. If you feel comfortable, share an experience in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today.